Hi, I'm Frank, Psychic Frank, and the Mystery School is now in session. Namaste. That's Gabby. That's the bird. That's, I want people to be aware that I live in a small studio and she's free range. She goes where she wants. So a lot of times people will come. They show me a lot of times in the middle of the night here in cable access TV in San Francisco, and people come home from wherever around 3 in the morning, and I'm probably on one of the cable access stations, 76 or 29, and they get in, and then all of a sudden they see this thing happening, and they don't know what's going on. So there it is. Be aware, Gabby Hayes. She's 28. She's going to have her Saturn return, her first Saturn return. Okay, so much. This is a blue month, blue moon. Two full moons in 1 month is a blue moon. Very rare occurrences. It's two full moons in 1 month. We had it on the first, and the second is on Halloween, the very end of this month. And it's going to be here in California, Pacific Daylight Time, 7:49 in the morning. So, yeah, that's October 31st. Full moons shine a light on stuff and expose it. And what makes this one really noteworthy is, yeah, she'll settle down. Just ignore her. Uh, the moon is going to be exactly conjunct 8 degrees Taurus to Uranus retrograde. Yeah, this is going to be. It's funny, I was just looking at some astrological charts, and it dawned on me. Oh yeah, this is going to be for the United States of America. 8 degree Scorpio is in our 11th house, forming a completion aspect to Uranus. 8 degrees Gemini in our sixth house. So there's definitely going to be something um, exposed. Something's going to come out of nowhere. Uranus is exactly conjunct the full moon, putting the lens on some sort of breakthrough or breakdown. Perhaps a former needs the latter. Either way, the sense of the unusual. I'm reading from the Mountain Astrologer here. Comes out every 2 months. This is what this. There's the Statue of Liberty. Ah, yeah. So either way, it's a sense of the unusual pervades this lunation, encouraging us to embrace what we do not instantly recognize or approve. This may sound counterintuitive with the moon involved. We could be tempted to fall back on old habits. I don't know what she's saying there, but I believe what's going on now. Uranus. We can't forget. Donald Trump would not be where he is now if not for the way the planets don't make things happen. They simply reflect what's going on. So it was the early morning of Election Day 2016. Mars slipped into Aquarius. So this whole election has been ruled by Mars and the planet Uranus, which rules Aquarius. And we are literally at the dawning of the age of Aquarius. I'm 72. In a couple of weeks, I'll be 72. And I'm a former New Yorker. I always tell people I'm a recovering New Yorker. Yeah, I'm still recovering from New York. Anyway, yeah, so there's yeah, on the 21st of December, Jupiter and Saturn will both go into Aquarius, uh, and Pluto. Starting the year after that, so Pluto will be conjuncting all this Aquarius energy, and then it peaks in around. We Pluto hasn't been in Aquarius for over 450 years. So what's going on is right now, while Mars, the North Node, is in Gemini, another mutable air, fixed air, Aquarius, we're realizing a whole new thought, education. We're realizing knowledge. We've been handed a bunch of crap for. Where is that bird? Oh, there. Oh, she likes to sing by her food bowl. See her right there? She's getting into her seeds. she likes to make a lot of noise when she eats to show all the other birds that, I guess that's bird pride. So where were we there? Okay, what's going on? I noticed just yesterday. Here it is, Thursday. This news blip, I guess you call it, about the latest thing with the Trump people is they have all these T-shirts, bumper stickers, and caps now, and it says. I wrote it down. It was so profound. He's he. If you don't like Donald Trump, you won't like us. If you won't like Donald Trump, you won't like me. And I couldn't believe it, but they're selling like hotcakes, and people are buying them up. The Trump people, everybody on astrology or anybody knows about astrology, Mars is how we're heroes temper, temperament. It's how your modus operandi. So we all now it's with 2 months into the 6 months of Mars in Aries. So the shadow of Mars in Aries is bonding with wounds. It's all about team playing now. So a lot of these people now are drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak, and totally bonding with wounds. Oh, if you want to write this down, it's so important. You should make a needlepoint pillow out of it. No good can ever come from bonding with a wound. Oh, excuse me. Oh, yeah, there might be this initial fuzzy feeling or like, oh, a kindred spirit. Um, but no, it'll come back and bite you and you'll rue the day. No bonding with wounds. And that's what they're doing. I'm constantly on guard of, because some people can really seduce you and it's easy to like, no, no, no. Bond with other things. Change the subject. I just saw a good friend of mine who's uh, dealing with rheumatoid arthritis. And by the grace of God, I connected this like 30 years ago. And minute they diagnosed me with that, I said, hell no. And I proceeded to do what I had to do. Yeah, so as I said, these paradigm changes with the way we're thinking now. See, that's what's going on. That's why people don't trust science. Science is in a crisis. Let's get right to it. Let's get cut to the chase, Frank. The Big Bang Theory is BS. It's on assumptions. They assumed if they went back far enough with science, they'd condense the Earth into the size less than an atom, and that's what they. But beyond that, they don't know anything. So they make this assumption, and then they spent like hundreds of years getting experience that validate their assumption when their assumption was wrong. Their theory was wrong. The Big Bang Theory never ever existed. Yes, planets will explode once they're in the galaxy, but they don't come from nothing. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. No, there's countless galaxies. It makes the mind spin. Now they're finding out and actually we're one of the smaller galaxies with one of the smaller suns. From what I understand, we're like far away from where it's going on. So okay, that's the thing now. So don't do some research. Get on YouTube, check out Rupert Sheldrake. He was thrown off a TED for talking. See, science has got all the power now, and they got Neil deGrasse Tyson now. He's a reincarnation of Carl Sagan. They're ruling out the mind. They're ruling out that this is how we're going to communicate with extraterrestrials. And they're not here to eat us, as may he rest in peace, that crippled, retarded person. No respect to mentally challenged people. He really was a sick, physically and mentally sick, David Hawking. And all the people that quote him are just as sick. Keep that in mind whenever anybody praising Hawking. These are the people who are spitting in psychics' faces. So, as I said, these are just, I'm just not pulling these out of my out of the air. No, these are true. These are scientific facts. And then, as I said, these whole clever things of wormholes and black holes. The universe is love. Is ultimately love. And I just saw something about two of the biggest black holes combined. They don't only suck in energy, they put out eons of wisdom. And see, that's what's happening. There's enough of us now who are opened our crown chakra, and we're getting all this information. So what a lot of you always are saying now, I always knew the Big Bang Theory. Well, they support it with TV shows. It should be called Nerds Can Be Humorous. But as Sheldon on that show is always putting down psychic phenomenon as, knuckle dragging stuff, and sensitive people and astrology. These are all things, mystical things, that science is leaving out of the equation. And there's this guy I've been reading since his first book came out in '89, Dr. Larry Dossey, MD, Space, Time, and Medicine. I've been reading this book over and over and over again, and every time I read it, something else gets me. And what he says in a nutshell, it has become extremely difficult to dismiss the evidence suggesting that conscious mental activity can exert change in the world. It is true that some scientists may still be willing to ignore objective findings in order to salvage precious theories. Like I just said, their theory, their assumption was this, and they're going to go to the grave finding experiments that will. See, quantum physics is you can't separate the consciousness from who's doing the experiments. It's really puts us. This is why science is in a challenge, in a crisis now, and this goes not only medicine. Medicine totally has left science and mind out of the equation. Thoughts are cell tissue. Thoughts are cell tissue. That's so important. So give yourself little pop quizzes during the day and say, okay, what am I thinking at this moment? And they go, wow, I don't want that to come back tenfold and spin it around, turn it into a love thing. This is if you find yourself going over something over and over again. I don't like the phrase being a dead horse because I'm an animal lover and a nonviolent person. But the fact is that's what a neuroses is. You call people neurotic, they get defensive, but no, it's if the neuroses aren't dealt with, like Carl Jung said, unless you put light in the darkness, you'll go all through your life cursing fate. So if you see yourself, just the other day I found myself going over something that happened over a year or so ago, and it was a great lesson. I wouldn't have changed a bit. I've often said I should have handled that better. No, I handled it exactly the way I should have, and I did. Yeah, it was, some people would say socially not acceptable, but I don't live in a socially acceptable world. I live in a mystical world full of truth. See, that's the thing. Uranus now represents truth and liberation. She hasn't been in Taurus. He hasn't been in Taurus for 80 something years. And we're only like 2 years into this 8 years of Uranus in Taurus. So it's really, really key to remind ourselves on Halloween. It starts early in the morning, Halloween. The moon. So when you wake up early, go to sleep. What is that? The 31st is on a Saturday. So when you go to sleep Friday night, 5:19, 5, 6, 8 o'clock, 8:19 p.m., 8 or 9 something p.m., the moon will slip into Taurus. So definitely we'll be feeling that moon Uranus conjunction. Moon is intuition, unseen forces behind the scenes at work. And we've got, as I said, no bonding with wounds. Yeah, this was a rite of passage. Everything's going the way it should. God's plan. That's the way God planned it. Our job is to, pray not so much for our will being done or God's. that we understand God's will for us in this, our Creator's will for us. Why am I created in this time and space now to witness what, just one of those? It's a multifaceted jewel, but one of those facets is to witness and experience how quickly democracy can go down the tubes. You know, to see these newsreels of 1930s. Just before World War II, how Hitler was able to, gin up the crowd. And as far as the camera can see, there's Nazis and white supremacist Nazis. And you wonder, how could I have ever have gotten to that space? Well, look around. This is what it is. Ignorance is contagious. And so is enthusiasm now. When people say, so many people. I live in San Francisco, which is literally Oz, and I'm surprised. I'm always taking a gasp when people tell me I wouldn't be surprised if it's a two-termer. No, how could you? No. These are like these animals that were put in a cage, wired to get a desperately horrible shock every time they try to leave it. It's got an experimental name, I can't be bothered wasting my time, space, listening insignificant trivia. I know the gist of it, and the thing is, it's a dog, and they put it in a cage, and it's wired to give them a really nasty jolt every time they try to get out. And after a while, the dog puts it together and say, "Why bother?" No. No matter what happens, it's not going to get instantly better, because next year is going to be a 7-year for the United States of America. See, 2021 is a 5. America's a 5 life path. If you add July 4th, 1776, reduce it to 1 digit, you get 5. I always tell 5 life path people, get rid of the idea there's ever going to be a dull moment. It's just that every test gives you more and more freedom. It's light blue, who obviously the founders of this country who came up with the colors for the American flag left out light blue. I could see the red. I could see the white. Definitely could see the white. Good one. A blind person could see the white in the American flag there. I love Jasper John. And he lived on the street from me. I never met the man, but I lived on 11th Street when it was the Alphabet, his studio, and he did the American flag whitewashed. That was back in '60s, the mid '60s. And I remember when I moved into New York City, I realized, oh, Jasper John lives right down the street. He's still alive, I guess. I love his artwork, Jasper John's. Anyway, oh yeah, I found something good the other day. Let's get over here. It says, if you bring forth that which you have within you, it will save you. If you do not, it will destroy you. Well, what are we waiting for? As Donald Trump said, what do you got to lose? God, is he a moron? There's a lot of hurt people. No matter what's going on collectively or individuality, if you're going to get through it, you got to take a big girl, a big boy pill, take a nice big breath, fill yourself up with, make your courage bigger than your fear, and say, okay, I created this, I can uncreate this. I could send this back to the cosmic kitchen and say, no, this is not what I ordered. I didn't realize that. Yeah, boom, and then your order will come back what you wanted, So, as I said, we've been victimized, but we are not victims. Victims don't heal. You got to say, okay, and then once you take responsibility gently, that's the thing, is be gentle and kind with everyone, especially yourself. We forget to be, we're superficially kind to people or whatever. to be social, we want to keep our image in the neighborhood, they're a really nice person. Well, the bottom line is, how are we treating ourselves? Are we threatening ourselves? Are we, like just now, before I do my shows, I realized, eyes are the window to the soul. And I had I had them for decades and decades. I bought them up in North Beach. It's no longer, North Beach is there, but that's scissor knife shop is in there. It's a really nice pair of barber scissors. And when I had money, one of my windfalls from a long time ago, when I bought this, and I still have it. I had it sharpened at Ace Hardware not too long ago, and I trimmed my mustache before I sit before you. Thank you for watching. And then I ask myself, why am I here? What am I doing on this planet? What is my and give me that. So instead of praying for things, pray for knowledge of God's will for you and the power to carry that out. Because there's lots of comforting knowledge out there. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. As far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light in the darkness of mere being. That's what art does. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The minute we point one finger at someone, we got three more pointing right back at ourselves. We all have a Donald Trump somewhere inside of us. I was thinking, being raised in a racist neighborhood, which still is racist in Long Island, New York. I left there in '72. Actually, before that, I left like 3 years before that, late '60s. Literally driven out of town on a rail, a police car. That's how much they wanted to get rid of me. I've been thrown out of some of the nicest places. I like what Einstein said, the greatest and most important problems of life are fundamentally insoluble. You can't solve them. They can never be solved, but only outgrown. See, that's what's happening now. Our wits have become, enough of the population's wits have become sharp enough now that we're able to download this amazing information now with the great attractor. Most people, and especially the news, these black holes are there to scare us. They're eventually going to eat up the whole universe. Well, that's going to be billions of years from now. It's like, be here now. Did you ever hear that? It's a catchy phrase. I love this one. Nothing has a stronger influence psychologically on their environment and especially on their children than the unlived life of the parent. How many parents have sent their kids to law school because back of their mind that's what they wanted to do all their lives? When if you ask that kid, what would give you a blank check and say you could give yourself whatever education you wanted, do you think they would pick that? I don't. Dreams are the guiding words of the soul. Why should I henceforth not love my dreams and not make their riddling images into objects of my daily consideration? A dream uninterpreted is like a letter unread. Again, this says neuroses is always a substitute for legitimate suffering. That's a good one. So remind yourself, if you're going over something again and again and again, and this thing happened so long ago, this is your subconscious saying, no, use this energy now to release yourself from that. I release the past. It doesn't mean you condone it. It just means, like these people that are saying, if you don't like Trump, you don't like me. Well, I don't like mass murderers. I don't like homicidal maniacs. I don't like Kim Jong or Kim Young, whatever his name is, who's a literally sadistic murderer, a homicidal murderer. It's totally really people that can't feel any emotions. Sociopathic, and Putin. Putin, and as far as China goes, free Tibet, huh? It's the soul of the whole area, just like San Francisco used to be the soul of America now. Okay, let's see. I've got the cards in front of me now. So, okay, so what the new realm of what we're going to have to rethink is science, medicine, everything. We're going to the way we deal with medicine. There's this one video I saw years ago on YouTube, and it was a short little video of a nurse's station in, Virginia, North Carolina, somewhere in the deep South, and somehow a Reiki master was in town opening up chakras for a lot of these nurses and people who worked at this hospital to enhance Western medicine. See, it's not like alternative medicine people want to totally, never go to a doctor. No, we've always been about, Eastern Western marriage, but no, Western's not giving. And it's not that they're not, supporting us. They're making a mockery out of touch. Out of your mental attitude. Doctors need to sit down, make eye contact with their person, and say to them, and of course, in comforting words, it's all in your head. Are you? They'd get lost. They'd be selling pencils on the sidewalk. Well, people don't do that anymore. That used to be how the people got through the Depression. The big depression, remember, depression is not being able to come up with invent a new future. People get stuck, and instead of having doctors that say to them, you got arrested development here, like say for instance, they are pedophiles. What happened to this child, this sick child, adult, when they were a child? What happened to them when they were children? And see, once again, we're all victims of victims, Oh yeah, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances, semicolon. If there's any reaction, both are transformed. So yes, we've been transformed by, Buttigieg. I love his boyfriend, his husband, his wife, whatever they call each other. I'm just happy that being a member of the gay community, LGBT community. I'm just so happy that they made it that far now. They're out there, and it does get better. Stick with it, all you guys and girls out there. And he said they asked him last year when he was face to face with Donald Trump. I can't even say the name. What was his reaction? And I love that he puts thought. I mean, I love that Pete Buttigieg there. I love the Buddha in his name. And he said, well, once I got past the initial grotesqueness of him, he said, you don't really realize it unless you're that close and you see him on the camera and everything. It's pretty, jaw-dropping. But when you're that close to him, he said, it's the grotesqueness of it just takes your breath away. He said, but once I, put myself together and so, as I said, he's got all these, what they call them, people around him who's telling him the emperor's wearing no clothes, and he's there naked as a jaybird, and everybody's telling him, oh, I love that material. It really brings out your eyes. There was that Isadora Duncan. Wear that scarf, it'll bring out your eyes. I know people don't know what I'm talking about. She was driving she's a famous dancer, Isadora Duncan, and she was driving a sports car, probably loaded, and the scarf in the wind choked her to death. I don't know. Okay, man needs difficulties. They are necessary for health. We're here to think we're here to just burn up the planet, live fast, die young, leave a good corpse, forget about the kids, let them inherit the mess. No. The earth is waking up now. Yeah, we're growing up now. We're going through some growing pains. Let's see what else we got going on here. I made lots of notes. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. So use this energy now to do your mirror work. Saying your affirmations in the mirror is really, really impossible. Is more potent. I'm looking here. It says we cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate it; it oppresses. So it's not enough to say, God damn, excuse my language, this, and this. But, well, there's no more written in there. The most intense conflicts is overcome. The most intense conflicts, if overcome, leave behind a sense of security and calm that is not easily disturbed. It is just these intense conflicts and their conflagration which are needed to produce valuable and lasting results. Conflagration, great or extensive fire. So yeah, shrieking away from death is something unhealthy and abnormal which robs the second half of life's its purpose. That's important. I'm going to reread that. Most people just don't want to accept. Like, I don't want to talk about these morbid things. First of all, no one doesn't survive their death. And it's just cyclic. We go around, the wheels go round and round, the painted ponies go up and down. Shrieking away from death is something unhealthy and abnormal, which robs the second half of life its purpose. Just a few hours ago, I was talking to a friend in the park across the street. He's younger than me by a few years, and he's having a rough time with his health. And he said, "Oh, Frank, getting old is." And I totally interrupted him, and I said, "Don't talk that way. Don't talk that way." And I said, I'm gonna make a list of all his things wrong with him. His hands. His hands are arthritic, and is not handling life the way his soul would like him to. And I believe some healings are instantaneous, some are gradual, but the fact that he's talking to me says his soul now is wanting, it's time now. Pain, whether it's physical, emotional, any kind of pain. Guilt seeks punishment, punishment seeks pain. I forgive myself. I release all guilt I might have. A lot of people recovering adult children of alcoholics or addicts or, all kinds of, adult hurt people, they first of all, they bond with wounds. Don't do that. Yeah, I had a rotten family there or whatever. We'll get on to that. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. Knowledge rests upon truth alone, but upon error. So we have to look now that we did the best we could with the knowledge we had. Like when you forgive yourself about something that happened way back, remind yourself, I'm not the person I was then. I've changed since then. That changes everything. I forgive that myself. That's not. It all boils down to forgiving ourselves. So let's see what else we got going on here. Oh yeah, there's a good movie. It was 1990 called The Grifters. Grifters. John Cusack, Annette Bening, Angelica Houston. If you want to know about the Trump family, check out that movie. I mean, it is a good movie. As I said, this whole thing, if you don't like Trump, you don't like me. They're like making this line in the sand now. I defy you to like me. It's kind of humorous, but I think it's going to escalate. As I say, it's going to be a very intense, dark nobody in a 7-year day or month throws confetti in the air saying, unless you're a really bodhisattva, a reincarnated enlightened soul. And even then, as I said, because wisdom comes through pain. So if you add America's life path is 5, America's day and month is 2 or 11, 2 and 3, 5 is 7. It's going to be, we're going from a 22/4 year, 2020, master years. You don't reduce the single digit, and it's good. We really, the veil got lifted, and we were got our nose rubbed into it every single day of every hour of every day during the Donald Trump administration up to today, with Mitch McConnell and the Republican Party. They've rubbed our nose in it over and over and over. So, yeah, the Dems gotten almost 4 years of guarding our nose. So the message has gotten through loud and clear. We're responsible for this. We cannot ever let this happen again now. We have to understand now. We have to start teaching and telling you. You see how fragile our democracy is? Yeah, we're still in it right now. We're not really out of it. But the fact is, we will be. And when we get to this place, probably by the end of next summer, this time next year, definitely we're going to have to look. We could explain what's going on, make some more sense to us. So many times when we're in the middle of it, we don't really understand. But next year, everybody that lives in the United States of America will be experiencing a 7 year. And for yourself, add your day and month to 1 digit, reduce it to 1 digit, and then add 5 to that. And then things go from 1 to 9. So, so there you go. So universally, it'll be a 5 vibration. So freedom, the whole planet's going to be in a 5 vibration. Testing through freedom through testing. So yes, I think I can see very clearly once Donald Trump and everything settles down with the violence. I see major gun reform. Yeah, it's but the real knowledge, and this is the knowledge in our learning. You know, and as I said, because science is so rich and so powerful and really ruthless, the way it like they're defending. Well, see, what happened was they found a star in our galaxy that shouldn't be there. It predated the Big Bang Theory, which really upset a lot of these cats. All these cats and kitties out there, you know. So, but you don't hear Neil deGrasse Tyson, whatever Dossie Ducey, whatever his name, Neil deGrasse. deGrasse's living the high life. Yeah, Carl Jung, not his name, Carl Sagan. You know, sold his heart to the junk man. You know, as I said, it's, you know, growing up, it would have, you know, if wishes and butts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a wonderful Christmas. And I've got to stop myself from thinking, you know, if it wasn't for Carl Sagan, no, I had to go through what I had to go through. But who wants to pass an easy class? I could go, when I get home on the other side, I'll look back and say, wow, as I said, God isn't, my creator, when I go home, isn't looking for how much money did you make? You know, who did you marry well? Did you have how many kids? Did you populate? Did you exploit the planet? What type? What was your financial bracket? No, he's looking for scars, as Rabindranath Tagore said. Yeah, and Einstein, I said this on my last show, and ponder it. Ponder it instead of, like, you know, scaring your soul. Start realizing now that it's something you've known in your heart of hearts for a long time now. What Albert Einstein said, I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Logic will get you from A to Z. Imagination will get you everywhere. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. See, all of these right-wing Donald Trumpers, they don't want to change. Like Nancy Sinatra said, and these boots are made for walking. You keep saying when you ought to be a changing. You know, so let's, and so it's again, all the healing techniques in the world are of little avail unless you know that life in me is unobstructed with a faith and conviction. Conviction that, you know, I know as well as I know that I'm touching wood now, that my life in me is unobstructed and flowing freely through every capillary of my vein, you know, and fight the brainwashing that goes on. You know, television's a fascinating thing, but it's like a minefield. You've got to have remote control and really press the mute button, because one thing's very obvious: all these pharmaceutical companies, there's no truth in advertising anymore. And as far as the reason I'm upset with these people who say they're curing kids from cancer, their kids are being cured from cancer in spite of your barbaric, whatever your key forms of all kinds of chemo and stuff. No, alternative. See, that's what alternative healers do through acupuncture and all sorts of divine. We reminds people's souls of their own healing ability, and then we heal instead of getting right to the main issue. We heal with the energy that's feeding that, and we start going in there. You know. Let me see what you guys need to know now. I've been shuffling the cards. Where are you, Gab? Where's Gabby? Yeah, every time she goes there, she's eating. She likes to make noise when she's eating. Look, world, I got a full bowl of food. Okay, I'm getting into my non-local space now. That's when I'm high above the fence and I can see all over. Past, present, future. What do people watching me right now? Well, that's 13 days away from Election Day. And now they're just out there realizing if they don't cheat, they don't stand a chance. That isn't that just, you know, derelict? You know, we've reduced. As I said, it's not original, but I heard this guy who works for the New Yorker at a roast once when Trump just got in. It was 3.5, 4 years ago, and he said it just stuck in my mind, like it was branded in my mind. He said Bush Cheney lowered the bar so low that slime like Donald Trump was able to ooze in afterward. Another thing that I keep on getting, I think you all need to know, nobody on any news, even the most liberal newsies, are saying the same thing. There's a lot of it on the web, on YouTube shows about the next 4 years. When Donald Trump loses, he's not going away. He's going to be getting ready for the next 4 year election, and he's going to be doing this, and then he's going to be on this show and that show. And he's going to be no, he's not. He's going to jail. He and his family are. There's New York State is chomping at the bit now. They've got tangible proof he's been money laundering for the Russian mob for the last couple of decades. and all the crimes. I think 271 infractions. I mean, what's his name had only one. Jimmy Carter had zero. Bill Clinton had, I think, 7 or 8. Nixon, rather. Bill Clinton had 70 something. But Donald Trump indictments, 271. Now, you think those 271 indictments aren't going to put him away? They've been that's why he's fighting now with all he's got, because he's a man, dead man walking. He knows he's headed for New York State. All those judges he fired in New York State, where he's, you know, he peed off a lot of people now, and these people just didn't say, "Oh well, these aren't his bootlickers. These are the ones who see him for the threat he is." So when so remind yourself, or tell people this when people say, "Well, after this election, after this election, he's going to jail." Okay. Case closed. Don't waste your energy allowance. Let me get that through. Okay, you get like $200 like playing Monopoly every day just for waking up. You get like $200 worth of energy. Using that just to wrap your mind around the concept of energy anatomy. And then most people are just squandering that away. The minute they open their eyes in the morning, instead of starting their day with gratitude, this is better than the lottery. I won my life. I got a wonderful life today to live. Every day brings unexpected, wonderful surprises. And then it's one goddamn thing after another. Oh shit, another day. I wish I had died. You'd be surprised. People don't, start their day with that. The first couple of seconds make the whole or break the whole day. And then every time their mind gets hijacked while they're still laying in bed, that's $30. And they ended up starting the day with like energy anatomy debt. And year after year after year of that is when the cancer and everything starts in. So you want to be very frugal with your energy allowance and remind yourself, is that worth $30 of my, and just say, you know what? No. I'm going to write a book, read it. Okay, what's the center of everything? Okay, we got to be teachable. You got to start every day saying, let me be teachable today. And we're reaping what we sow. Yes, we are responsible for we're no victims here. We knew we should have started nuclear disarmament, but we were drunk on oil, drunk on power, drunk on, I don't know, we just hadn't matured enough. Our wits had not become sharp as they are now. Okay, whatever, yes, Donald Trump's going to be gone. First there was a mountain, then there wasn't a mountain, then there was. Yeah, as much as, just like a big old nasty fart, it's this thunderous loud. What was that? The walls were shaking, and then poof, it's gone. And once he gets locked up, see, Cheney never did time. Bush Cheney got away with the most horrible thing of taking us into consciously we need somebody. We need a Saddam Hussein to hang. Donald Trump's gonna be it, Oh, here we are now, doing the dance of life in the world, respecting the four elements. Hope, life without hope, and a life worth living. Sure, there's lots of hope. Yes, we're going through a dark night of the soul, but remember, when we're going through a dark night of the soul, we're going through it to learn something. The heart chakra now. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. People who never thought they'd have to beg for food are begging for food now. That's why I'm saying, the women now have finally woken up. And this Stepford wife judge, she's definitely belongs to this cult. It's a Christian cult, so it's not really a Christian. They can't call themselves Christians because it's sort of Sharia law disguised as where women are second-class citizen. Yeah, she's definitely. I don't see that as intelligence. Everybody's saying she's very intelligent. Well, if she was intelligent, she wouldn't be the person she is now. Okay, there's hope. This is a purification now. A lot of people have had enough time now to really, on some level, realize, I'm responsible for this. Coming up with Hillary Clinton as the only Democratic alternative. How quickly we forget all those Debbie Wasserman shilts, all these terrible racist people who didn't give people of color a fair shake, So in a way, I'm not condoning anything Bill Clinton, but I'm actually happy he got in. Please don't hate me for that because I'm speaking from my heart. But, seeing that slime bucket Bill Clinton and that horrible daughter, that spoiled brat daughter who was anti-cannabis, I think she might have changed her tune now. I mean, she lives in these trust fund kids. I don't understand them. From what I understand, Hillary Clinton, the kid, the daughter there, Chelsea, her apartment is a full New York City block long. How does this little girl need that much room? Live humbly. Let's get our carbon footprint under control. Walk more places. Yes, this card keeps on. We have to find new ways of doing things. Once we adjust, it's all gonna. Yeah, right now we're all tiptoeing past all the crazies, and there's this better off now while Mars is in Aries and this big confrontation's going on. Mars is going to go direct Friday the 13th of November, around 11 degrees. Well, that's too far away. Uh, well, we only got a couple more minutes now. Where are you, Gabby? Oh, there she is. Gabby! I see you. Okay, let's see. Anything else you guys need to know? Yeah, this has been debauchery. No two ways about it. Totally debauched. Donald Trump is a drunk. He's drunk on power. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because I remember years ago, I came into a little bit of a windfall, and I'm almost really totally embarrassed on how I dealt with it. Oh yeah, as I said, what's happening on the United States of America on Halloween? I said it when I first started this show, and I'm going to repeat it. The moon will be exactly conjunct the planet Uranus, 8 degrees Taurus. So definitely find out where that is on your chart. And for America, 8 degrees Taurus is our planet Uranus. So definitely, let me see if my guides will give me a hint on what I can lay on you all. Now, what do I do with the cards? I just had them right here. Oh, here they are. What can we expect on Halloween? Oh, it's going to be a dark night of the soul moment. Yeah, there's definitely something's gonna transpire. But as I said, there's oodles and oodles and oodles of happiness waiting for us. Uh, a lot of times people, I guess, S&M. When I first started, I was really big with the S&M community, and one of my dear friends, Kathy Acker, may she rest in peace, erotic fiction, and Thomas More, the famous psychologist, said one thing about sadomasochistic relationships is you avoid the true pain of actually living. If you're living life with integrity and honoring your gift, life's going to be painful. Our job is to make our courage bigger than our fears and start each day up here. It's all about keeping our frequency in the fifth dimension. We're going to talk more about that. Most people are in the third dimension. No, we're all quantumly moving into the fifth dimension. This is where all the mystical stuff happens. Tap your forehead or move it up a few chakras and watch your frequency. Keep it in a love mode. There she is. I got a bird on my shoulder. I love you all. I love you, and thanks for the support. And let's all send loving vibes to each other. And remember, these people are crying for help. Love them. Namaste. Gabby. Oh, here we are. Bye.